Today's lesson is probability with not. So previously we asked questions like, what is the probability of flipping tails if you flip a coin once? Or if we're looking at a spinner like this, where we have a spinner to spin, and we want to know what the probability of landing on a certain color is. So we might say, what is the probability of spinning the spinner and landing on blue? But today we're going to talk about probability with not, which means it's kind of like the opposite of saying the probability of landing on blue. We could say, what is the probability of not getting blue when we spin the spinner? Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, if I say, what is the probability of not getting blue? That means I want to spin and not land on blue. I can land on anything else. So for this spinner, that means I could land on green, or I could land on red, or I could land on any of the other green or reds, just not blue. I don't want to land on blue. So that means I can spin, see if I can get it to not land on blue. Yeah, it worked, but it wouldn't always work, right? What's the probability that when I spin it, it will not land on blue? How many sections of this spinner are there altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So altogether there are 8 things that can happen when we spin the spinner. That goes on the bottom. The total outcomes goes on the bottom. But how many are not blue? Well, there's 3 that are blue, so if we have 8 minus 3, that means 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are not blue. So the probability of not spinning blue is going to be 5 out of 8. That's the answer. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. See if you can answer it before I do. What's the probability of not green? So if we want to know what's the probability, we will spin the spinner once and not land on green. So I landed on green, but we don't want to. We want not green. So what's the probability? Go ahead and write your answer in your notes. Well, there are 8 total outcomes that could happen, 8 spaces that our spinner could land on. And the ones that are not green are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the probability of getting not green would be 6 out of 8. We can simplify probability ratios just like we simplify fractions. So 6 out of 8 can be simplified because I can divide by 2 on top and divide by 2 on the bottom. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we could say that the probability of not spinning a green would be 3 out of 4. 6 out of 8 is a good answer, but this is a simplified answer, 3 out of 4. Okay, so we could use that one. Remember we studied last time that you're going to be required sometimes to change your probability answer from a ratio to a percent. So if we wanted to say, what is the probability of not getting green as a percent, we would have to change 3/4 to a percent. Do you remember how to do that? 3 divided by 4. The number on top goes inside the box. But you might be thinking, wait, 4 doesn't go into 3. That's okay, because we can add a decimal and some zeros. 4 does not go into 3, so we put our 0 there, but 4 goes into 30 7 times, because 7 times 4 is 28. And that gets us close to 30. 30 minus 28 is 2. Bring down the 0. Does 4 go into 20? Yeah, 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. take away 0, no remainder, so 0.75. But 0.75 is a decimal, we need a percent. Remember, we have to move the decimal point 2 places and it becomes 75%. So we could say that the probability of not spinning a green is 3 out of 4, or we could say it's 75%. Okay, I'm going to give you a Google form to check for your understanding. And all of the questions on the Google form are questions of probability with not.